It happened on the kind of frigid autumn morning that made the world feel bleached of color. Steel-gray clouds hung low over the bustling metropolis of Nova Terra, mirroring the icy grip around Eleanor Vance's heart as her state-of-the-art hover chair silently glided down the sleek metallic corridor of the Helios Medical Institute. The faint hum of the chair was a constant low thrum, a stark counterpoint to the vibrant melodies that once defined her life. Just 18 months ago, Eleanor was soaring across holographic stages, the youngest virtuoso to ever lead the famed Viridian Conservatory's annual showcase, her dance a testament to human grace in a world obsessed with synthetics. But one catastrophic cyber truck malfunction, a rogue AI, a cascade of system failures, and a terrifying electromagnetic screech had stolen everything. Her neurospinal pathways were severed beyond current repair, or so the leading bioengineers claimed. She hadn't felt her legs since the day the world shifted, and worse than the paralysis was the crushing isolation that followed. Everyone praised her resilience, but they didn't witness the holographic calls she muted to weep into her augmented reality pillow, or the way she forced a cheerful expression to spare her father, Arthur Vance, from that same haunted despair. Arthur Vance, the visionary CEO of Omnicorp, a titan accustomed to reshaping reality with data, innovation, and unwavering resolve. But no amount of quantum computing power could regrow her neural connections, and no amount of influence could mend her fractured spirit. If you believe in the transformative power of empathy, the chance for a new beginning, and the idea that one seemingly ordinary soul can illuminate the darkest path, please take a moment to upload a positive data stream to this transmission, subscribe to Soul Symphony Archives, and share it with someone who seeks a beacon of hope today. Your engagement helps stories like this reach those who need solace the most. Arthur had assembled an unparalleled team, neural specialists from across the globe, cutting-edge cyberneticists, even enigmatic quantum healers from the uncharted sectors. He had repurposed an entire sub-level of his sky palace into a rehabilitation nexus, but nothing sparked life. Eleanor refused to engage most cycles. She retreated into the digitized memories of her former self, a ghost haunting a machine. It shattered him, not because he prioritized optics, but because he had engineered futures, yet stood powerless before his own daughter's stillness. That's when he made the profound decision to disconnect her from the incessant hum of the city, away from the sterile medical pods and the sympathetic whispers of biobots. He transported her to a secluded bio-regenerative sanctuary nestled deep within the Aurorane Peaks, a place simply known as the Quietude. A private enclave revered for blending advanced neurorestoration techniques with deep emotional rejuvenation. It was his final, desperate gambit. The air in the Aurorane Peaks was crisp, infused with the scent of pine and untainted by urban emissions, yet it felt sharper, somehow accentuating Eleanor's fragility. The resident holistic practitioners were kind but detached. Another complex case to process, another protocol to execute. Then, on the 5th solar cycle, something stirred. She was meditating alone outside one of the sculpted biodomes, gazing at the distant, snow-capped summits, when a small boy approached her. He appeared no older than 8. Luminescent specks, like captured starlight, dappled his cheeks, and he had this endearing, stubborn cowlick of raven hair that defied gravity. He observed her hover chair for a moment, then met her gaze and offered a shy smile. "My guardian says you carry a lot of sadness," he stated simply, his voice surprisingly clear. Eleanor blinked, unsure how to respond to such unvarnished truth. "He says sometimes sad people just need a different kind of frequency," the boy continued, tilting his head. "He helped me when my mother ascended. He can help you." She didn't know what to say, so she remained silent. The boy turned and pointed toward a nearby crystalline arboretum, where a man in practical, recycled fabric trousers and a dark, eco-friendly tunic was tending to bioluminescent flora. He appeared strong, his hands calloused from hands-on work, but there was an inherent calm in his movements, grounded, authentically present. And when he looked up and noticed Eleanor, he smiled. Not a pitying smile, not a clinician's practiced pleasantry, but something genuinely warm and profoundly human. That night she couldn't sleep, not because of phantom pains. She had long adapted to those, but because of the boy's earnest words. He helped me. Who was this individual? The next morning, the man approached while she was sketching schematics for a new dance sequence on her neural pad. He didn't inquire about her designs or why her holographic avatar projected an aura of frustration. Instead, he knelt down slowly, as if not to startle a cautious creature, and offered a delicate, iridescent bloom he'd cultivated from the arboretum. "You don't have to project joy," he said, his voice a low, resonant baritone. "But perhaps this might improve your resonance by 1% today." Then he walked away, leaving a lingering scent of rich earth and clean air. His name was Kalen Stone, a solitary guardian, once a highly sought-after neurophysicist at a prominent urban hospital, until his partner's sudden transition to the data stream led him to relinquish his conventional life. He moved to the Aurorane Peaks to raise his son, Jax, amidst the quietude. When he wasn't volunteering at the Quietude, he taught sustainable living skills and cultivated rare biohealing herbs. But what few knew was that Kalen possessed a profound intuition, a way of attuning with patients' emotional landscapes before ever initiating a physical regimen. He didn't treat the damaged pathways. He tended to the spirit within the shell. It took Eleanor cycles, endless cycles, to allow him into her inner world. She met his gentle overtures with silence, with acerbic wit, with virtual doors slammed shut. But Kalen didn't push. He would simply sit near her while she worked on her designs or helped Jax tend to his miniature moss garden. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, she found herself vocalizing, then sharing a genuine laugh, then releasing long-held tears, and finally, tentatively, entrusting. One dawn, as the first rays of sunlight kissed the misty peaks outside the biodome, Kalen looked at her with an unwavering gaze and said quietly, "I sense your physical being is awaiting the resonance of your heart, and your heart is awaiting permission to truly believe again." She didn't respond, but she didn't look away either. Later that week, she agreed to let him attempt something unorthodox. He designed a restorative process not centered around conventional biomechanical apparatus, but around memory and sensory immersion. He painstakingly recreated the vibrant energy of the Viridian Conservatory studios within a dedicated chamber. Holographic mirrors reflecting impossible angles, classical symphonies resonating with perfect fidelity, the subtle scent of stage grease paint and polished wood filling the air. He said he wanted to remind her body of the joy it once knew, of the dance it yearned to express. What followed was arduous, an agonizingly slow recalibration, but something was undeniably different. She didn't feel like a mere patient under clinical observation anymore. She felt like Eleanor Vance, the artist, the person, once more. And for the first time in 18 months, when Kalen gently supported her waist with a steady hand and said, "Let's attempt to engage the pathways together," her legs didn't scream in defiant resistance. They trembled, a micro-vibration of tentative life, but they didn't collapse into inert weight. She didn't dance that cycle, but she stood for a miraculous 7 seconds. And she wept, not out of pain or frustration, but out of a profound, nascent hope. Arthur Vance didn't grasp it initially. He had engaged legions of top-tier professionals, invested fortunes in bleeding-edge technology, and now this quiet man from the secluded peaks had achieved what none of them could. He confronted Kalen, his voice low with years of suppressed desperation, and a lingering professional skepticism. "What makes you believe you can mend her?" he asked, the word mend loaded with his own unfulfilled expectations. Kalen didn't flinch. "Because I don't perceive her as broken, Mr. Vance. I perceive a magnificent spirit who simply forgot the extraordinary strength within her own unique frequency. She merely needs to remember her own melody." That was the solar cycle Arthur Vance finally released his tightly held control and allowed another soul to truly connect. Progress was incremental. Some cycles Eleanor experienced setbacks, moments when the weight of her past threatened to overwhelm her. Others, she astounded even herself with newfound control. But always, Kalen was there. Not with directives or pressure, but with quiet, unwavering presence. He never once promised she would dance across a stage again. He only promised she wouldn't face this journey alone. And sometimes, often, that quiet assurance was the most powerful medicine of all. One radiant autumn evening in the open fields surrounding the quietude, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun, Eleanor took her first 10 unassisted steps. Jax's delighted laughter echoed like a joyful chime in the background. Kalen offered a rare, subtle smile. Arthur Vance openly shed tears of profound relief and gratitude. And Eleanor, for the first time since the world changed, believed with every fiber of her being in the promise of tomorrow. If this story resonated with your heart's frequency, please don't disconnect without uploading a positive data stream to this transmission, subscribing to Soul Symphony Archives, and sharing it with someone who needs a spark of hope. Your engagement helps us continue spreading narratives that inspire healing. We'd love to hear from you. Please comment below what part of this story moved you the most. Your words help us amplify kindness across the digital currents.